Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul channel. I do have a new topic for today. Before I begin, I just would like to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. So continuing, this is part 3 of the long-going or long-term series on the Sefer Mesillas Yesharim, which is either called Way of the Upright, sometimes people call Path of the Just. And that's from the Ramchal, Mesillas Yesharim, and this is the Art Scroll version that I have. It's the Yafa edition, and I will include the link for Art Scroll so you can check out all their wonderful svarim that they have. So, still in the introduction, which is quite lengthy, and I'm just reading, basically they have a Hebrew part on the top and then an explanation commentary on the bottom, which, has the Hebrew words too, like in parts, so that it explains it in more detail. So where I left off last time, we were talking about how people, what they're focusing on, and why this sefer, this is necessary for people to achieve their service, the complete service of Hashem. And then this next section I'm going to do, and again I'm going to keep track of the time here so I don't go too long. So what he was saying before is a lot of people focus on their interests, like science, geometry, etc. Not everyone focuses on what they need to do. So they're saying, why is this area of study so neglected? Okay, I'm just going to read the English. I'm not going to read the Hebrew because that'll take much longer, the Hebrew and the English. So it says, it is not because intelligent people do not regard these matters as fundamental. For if you would ask them, each one would say that this is in fact the most fundamental aspect of a Jew's life, meaning the study of Torah, becoming the shleimus, the completion, the completeness in the service of Hashem, and that it cannot be imagined that a wise man would be truly wise if all these matters had not become clear to him. No, that is not why this field is neglected. So he's going to explain why. Rather, the reason they do not study this subject very much is that these matters seem so self-evident and obvious to them that they see no need to spend much time on their study. So meaning they think that, it's obvious what I'm supposed to be doing, so why do I need to bother to study about it, right? Which is, of course, Ramchal is going to tell you otherwise. Of course you need to study about it. So as a result, studying these matters and reading svarim of this type, including this very work, are not left to anyone other than those whose minds are not that subtle and even border on being dense. For it is these less intelligent people that you will generally see immersed in all this, never budging from it. To the point that, given the prevailing norms in the world, when you see someone engaging in pious conduct, you cannot help but suspect him of being intellectually dense. So that's just how he puts it. Okay, and then the negative consequences of this unfortunate state of affairs is going to be explained now. But the consequences of this norm are very bad, both for those who are intelligent and for those who are not intelligent. So he's saying that it's actually bad for both sides. For it causes that among both types of people, authentic piety is lacking, and it is very rare to find it in the world. For it is lacking among the intelligent because they hardly study it. So meaning the intelligent people, this is how I would say, intelligent people think they know it already, so they don't think they need to study it. That's how I would say it. And then it is lacking among the non-intelligent because they hardly grasp its true meaning. So for the non-intelligent people, they don't understand it, so they're not getting it. So for both, that's why for both sides is this negative aspect. Thus, true piety is rare to the point that most people imagine that piety is predicated on the recitation of many psalms, which is Tehillim, and on exceedingly lengthy confessions, meaning doing vidui, that's what it's called, on grueling fast and immersion in icy water or snow. So that's what they think that piety is. And all of which are matters with which the healthy intellect is not at peace, nor the healthy mind at ease. So they don't think this is something. So then there's a commentary on this. So the Ramchal It says, does not intend to deny that these practices have their place in serving Hashem, meaning the fasting and the confessions, etc. And that's going to be in chapter 21 regarding the study of Tehillim, the Psalms, as a means for acquiring Hasidus, and also chapter 23 regarding the occasional self-denial that is praiseworthy for the aspiring Hasidus. That's where it's going to be elaborated. So rather, it is the extreme measures, he's saying, of these activities, meaning many psalms, exceedingly lengthy confessions, grueling fasts, immersing under extreme conditions, and the excessive focus one places on them that the Ramchal deems distasteful and removed from genuine piety, meaning that you go overboard on it, meaning you do it too much. So that's what he's saying. He's not saying that it doesn't have a place. He's saying that it's the people that take it to its extreme. So, and then in the beginning of chapter 18, which we'll get to eventually, BeEzrat Hashem, or I'll get to, Ramchal expounds on the difference between genuine and false piety. Okay, so continuing on. Meanwhile, authentic piety, which is pleasing and desirable, remains distant from the imagery of our intellect, meaning we lack a clear mental image of what true piety is. So for this is a simple fact. Something that is not incumbent upon a person is not on his mind, meaning something that you're not required to do, you don't think about. So a commentary on this, they say, this is a Talmudic principle stated regarding matters that do not command a person's attention. Since he did not pay them close attention, his recollection of them is unreliable. So if you don't pay attention to it, you're not going to remember it. So that's from Shavuos, see Shavuos 41b, which I'm not going to do because I don't have that access, but that's what it says to see. The Ramchal applies this principle to explain why otherwise intelligent people maintain vague notions regarding piety, allowing for the undesirable shallow type of Hasidus to represent piety in their minds. So meaning they think what they think is pious and it's not. So since they think that service of Hashem is a simple matter that they need not pursue intellectually, their minds fail to discern its nuances. So meaning the intelligent people think they know already, so they don't think they need to go after it, and then they don't understand it. So that's just what happens. Okay, so continuing on, I'm going to go a little bit longer. Let me just see here the time. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure a place to finish this where I'm not gonna be in the middle of something. Let's see. I want to just see how far I would want to go. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm just trying to figure this out. Maybe I'll just read a little bit more here. So I'd rather keep them shorter, even though it'll be a longer series, just that you can digest the information as you go along, and you could listen to it again because there's a lot to understand. Even though it seems simplistic, you need to grasp it. So, okay, so I'll just continue on a little bit longer. And it says, and although the rudiments and fundamentals of true piety are already inbred in the heart of every upright person, meaning they are intuitive, if he does not engage in studying and applying them, he will see the details of piety and not recognize them as such. And he will come upon them and not sense that he has encountered them. So what it's saying is that even though it's something that's kind of intuitive and inborn in us, if we don't engage in the study of it, meaning you have to keep studying it and also applying it, meaning it's not just about studying, it's about applying what you're learning, then he won't even recognize it, and it'll come to him. So there's a commentary here, so I'm just going to read that, and then we'll finish there. Since one is not mindful of what constitutes true piety, he may encounter its details, perhaps by studying passages in Tanakh or Talmud that depicts acts of true piety, or by witnessing such acts, but will fail to register them in his mind as components of the mindset to which everyone should aspire. That's from Or HaMesila, based on the Gra to Mishlei 1.7. So meaning, he may find it all in these different places, but it won't connect in his mind that this is something he should be doing. So, as a result, one will miss many opportunities to identify behavior that he ought to emulate. Meaning he's supposed to be, emulating these things, but he's not doing it. So then it has an additional bit of commentary below. So it says, a person who is not mindful of his obligation to refine his character, which is one of the aspects of true piety, as Ramchal will later explain, meaning, refining a character, the midos, the character traits. So someone who's not mindful of this, of his obligation, may also encounter situations where we should apply compassion, forgiveness, and tolerance, which are some of the divine attributes, And then it says, see another note 28 below, which I could look at real quickly here and see what that says. Let's see, note 28 says, in Seder Vikuach, let me see if this is applying. No, I think that's okay. We'll just keep it simple for right now because there's a lot to grasp here. So so it's saying that, so there's times when he should be applying these things and he does not. Yet because he is not consciously thinking about his duties, he may not recognize these opportunities and may even act with harshness, intolerance, and impatience. This is not because he does not know how one should act, but because he is not cognizant of this at all times, may get carried away by his emotions. That's from Avram J. Tursky in Lights Along the Way, and that's Zecher Tzadik Levracha. He's no longer with us. But so that's what he's saying, is that because you're not aware of it, that these are things that you're supposed to be doing, he's not going to apply it because he doesn't think, and these opportunities are coming along, and yet he's not mindful that it's something you should do. So I think I'm going to stop there. I didn't get that far, but I don't want to go too long because I try to stop at a point where there's kind of a break in the information, and then I'd rather continue next time. So this is, even though it wasn't very long, maybe not 20 minutes, but there's a lot to digest. So I think it's important to do it in smaller bites, as you'd say, for you to hear the information, apply it. But I highly recommend getting the Sefer yourself so you can read it yourself, because I'm going through it and I'm kind of elaborating a little on the commentary as well. But I think it's also important for everyone to read it on their own. And I hope and pray that we will all live to see the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days and the rebuilding of our final and everlasting Beit HaMikdash. Amen. And thanks for watching.